A lot of Canadians right now are shocked and confused and angry at the results of the election. Others seem nonplussed, and that makes sense for what I see. I've been wondering here if perhaps there was election fraud, but now actually I'm thinking that there probably wasn't. I base this on a number of things. Some things I've heard. Apparently some people voted Conservative because they didn't want the NDP to take their guns. They wanted to have them registered, not take them. One thing does not necessarily lead to another thing. Presuming that without evidence is that's a pretty selfish and small-minded reason to vote in a government that you ought to know is very corrupt and led by a man who rules with an iron fist. A man who now rules this country. And I say rule, like a dictator, because he controls his party. He has a majority which he controls. He has a Senate which he's stacked with his own people. One man is running our country right now. One man. Our democracy has never been at such a threat. And a lot of people don't care. About 40% did not bother to go out and vote against a government that they must have known at the very least was very, very corrupt. And 40% of those that did voted for a government that they must have known at the very least was very, very corrupt. If you try to debate or argue with these people, they have nothing to say. They can't carry a conversation. Most of them, you see. The vast majority of the Conservatives that came out of nowhere, they just popped up from under a rock, apparently. Where were they before? They were nowhere to be seen. I made various political videos, and they were never anywhere. Now all of a sudden, they jumped up from under a rock and they're everywhere. Yay, we won! Yeah, we won! They're trying to say, well, how is this a good thing? You know, can you explain why this is a good thing? Can you explain why that's a good thing? Look what Harper's done. And they say, oh, you're crying, baby, because you lost it. We won, yeah! You know what? This is not a sport, you know? They're reacting to this like it's a friggin' sport. This is politics. This is real. This is not a game. This affects the future of this country. This affects the children. This will affect you too. They do not understand this. And you cannot begin to get through to them. It's like talking to a brick wall. They are hopeless. They have a cynical view that it's them versus the world. Screw everyone else. I just want my guns. Leave me alone. They think that's what they're getting with Stephen Harper. A government that'll leave them alone and let them have their guns. That's Stephen Harper's support base. He will not want to burst that bubble of theirs or he'll lose that support. No doubt Harper will play into that. But what we're going to lose in the end. Harper might make a major U-turn, surprise all of us. Like at the end of A Christmas Carol, or Ebenezer Scrooge sees the light and becomes a great guy. Maybe. But most likely not. You can't discuss facts with those people, and there's no point in even trying. I see a split that's happened because of things, and some people are optimistic voting for the NDP, and I'm not saying the NDP would be great if they got in. I'm saying that a vote for the NDP is a vote for change. It's an optimistic vote. Vote for the Conservatives is, oh, well, I know what I'm going to get if I vote Conservative, at least I think I do. So it's a pessimistic vote. One person PM'd me, and they told me, you know, well, this person, I won't say their name, won't give any details, but they were a Canadian patriot who was screwed over, and now he's very pessimistic and advising me that I should be pessimistic and don't bother caring about anyone else because no one will really care about you. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to turn to the dark side. I'm just not. To me, that's like Darth Vader, you know, talking to young Luke Skywalker. Join the dark side. No, that won't do it. And that's very relevant for right now. Despite everything, you know, you have to stand and fight if you care. Luke Skywalker did not give up, even when it looked like the Empire was going to win, when the rebellion was collapsing, when his father wouldn't turn back from the dark side. When the Emperor is ready to kill him, Luke Skywalker throws down his lightsaber and says, "I am a Jedi like my father before me." That says a couple of things. One, it says it believes in the good inside of his father, that he's never given up on that. And it says, too, that he's never given up on himself. I will die the man that I lived. And that's what you have to do. You have to stay true to heart. You can't listen to me or what anyone else tells you. You have to follow your own heart and stay true to who you are and what you believe in. If you give up, if you give in without realizing it, you are part of the problem. You can't give up. You've got to stay optimistic. You've got to believe. You have to believe. It doesn't matter what religion you belong to or what myths or stories that inspire you. You have to have something to hold on to or something to believe in, even if it's just yourself. You can't give in. You can't give up. And it's going to be hard and it's going to hurt. And hurting is good because it lets you know that you're human, and it also lets you know that you're getting stronger, because the more hurt you take, the better you are at taking it. Like fitness instructors might say, no pain, no gain. That's true psychologically as well. There's an article that I read. I won't read you the whole article, but this man is saying he's disgusted to be a Canadian right now. He can't believe that there are so many stupid Canadians who could possibly have voted in, allowed this majority Conservative Party to happen. And looking at a lot of the comments he's gotten, the majority of the comments that I see on this page anyway. To all lefties, whine, 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 blah, blah, blah. The Tories won. No amount of whining will change that. Deal with it. LOL. Oh, that's too bad. One person referred to him as a princess, whining, crying. Again, like it's a sports game, and their sports team lost. That's not what he's talking about. Those fucking morons don't get it. All these morons that can't carry a conversation, they can't debate, they can't defend anything that Harper has done with his minority government at all. All they can do is say, "We won, get over it." It's not a sport. It's real life. This is serious. But these people, it's like talking to a brick wall. They're fun. I have almost a perverse sense of humor. I actually kind of enjoy debating with these people. I like debating with someone intelligent. You know, I like debating even sometimes if I don't even know if I'm right or not. You know, let's see who's right. Let's debate it. But I also enjoy debating when I know I'm right and I know they're wrong and there's no way they can win. I find some of these people amusing, actually. But I like to argue them, to debate them. There's something inside of me that wants to fight them. But I don't expect to change how they think. You can't. It's like trying to argue with a brick wall. What we need to do is reach people who do care and try to encourage them to care a little more. People who know some things but need to know some more things. We need to educate ourselves more and educate other people more. And we also need to hold Harper accountable for what he does. He has a majority now. He has 4 years to prove himself. I'd say after a year and a half, if he hasn't followed through with his promises, let's hold him accountable for it, big time. I'm not saying let's not follow what he does in the meanwhile and expose any corruption and bullcrap. Of course, that's presuming at the end of those 4 years that you and I even have a voice. We'll see. We'll find out. Will there even be a CBC? Who knows? Harper will be able to do whatever he wants to do. One man runs this entire nation like a dictator. He's going to take us into every war the states go into. He's going to build up our military, and we're going to be ashamed. Those of us who care are going to be ashamed to be Canadian when people around the world hate us just like they hate Americans. Not that Americans are all bad people. I know many of them are good people, and many Canadians are good people. But will the world see it that way? When our armies are out there with the American armies doing all the things our American armies are doing. Far right means corporate rule. You think you're voting right wing for a little less government control over your life? No. reformist conservative is what you're voting for. They are far right. They empower corporate empires that can corrupt and pervert everything in our system. They can control everything. This has happened before in history. If you remember sitting in school, you might remember some of that history. It's important. History repeats itself if people are dumb enough to let it. Canada is not just magically a good country and there's nothing to worry about here because it's Canada. It doesn't work that way. Canada is losing its spirit on the whole. I see it developing a pessimistic attitude that empowers what we have right now, this corrupt dictatorship. People get the government that they ask for or that they deserve. Not all of us have asked or deserved for it, but we got it nonetheless. We have to fight it. Like Luke Skywalker, we've got to fight it until the end. You've got to remain true. Follow your heart. Be true to yourself.